Have you tried being late for work? Or pressured by deadlines? In everything we do, we need to follow time. We need to budget time. In this video, let's talk about time. What time is it? The content of this topic are the following. 1. The time. 2. The clock. 3. How to tell time on the clock. Now, let's first talk about the time. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Yesterday. It is the day before the present day. For example, yesterday is Monday. Today indicates the present day on which the speaker or writer is. For instance, today is Tuesday. Tomorrow. It is used to refer to the next day after the present day. For instance, tomorrow is Wednesday. What is the instrument used to measure time? Unit of measurement of time. The instrument we use to measure time is the clock. The unit we will use as a reference will be the day. With respect to the day, there are smaller and larger units of time. For smaller than the day. A day has 24 hours. It takes 24 hours to complete a day. An hour has 60 minutes. Which means there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And a minute has 60 seconds. 7 days make a week. Between 28 and 31 days make a month. 12 months make a year. 5 years make a lustrum. 10 years make a decade. 100 years make a century. 1,000 years make a millennium. Now let's talk about the clock. What is a clock? A clock is the instrument we humans use to measure time in the typical units, hours, minutes, and seconds. A watch is a type of portable clock. The main function of clocks is to measure time, which allows us to know what time is it at the moment of consultation. It also allows us to activate alarms at a specific time so that we do not forget to perform a specific action. It serves to measure the duration of an event. There are 4 types of clocks. 1 is analog clock. This is one of the best known types of clocks, or watches. The analog clock is characterized by indicating the time on a dial by means of 3 types of hands. The smallest hand marks the hour, the longest hand marks the minutes, and some types of analog clocks also mark the seconds with a red hand. 2 is digital clock. This clock, or watch, marks the time with digital numerals. These can indicate the hour, minutes, seconds, and even the day and month. They can have 2 types of formats, 24 hours or 12 hours. If 12 hours are used, it is indicated by the initials AM, before noon, or PM, after noon. 3 is wristwatch. As the name suggests, these types of watches are characterized by having a strap that is attached to the wrist. They can be either analog or digital. It is the most used watch nowadays, since you always have the exact time. 4 is hourglass. The hourglass is characterized by 2 receptacles connected by a narrow opening. The course of a certain time is controlled from when the sand begins to fall into the lower receptacle and ends when it has fallen in its entirety. Now, how to tell time on the clock? The time on an analog clock. The analog clock is divided into 12 parts. The long hand indicates the exact hour. Example: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. The shorthand indicates the minutes. To indicate the minutes, it should be taken into account that each number marking the hour will be equivalent to 5 minutes. Thus, 1 will be equivalent to 5 minutes, 2 to 10, 3 to 15, 4 to 20, etc. If the shorthand is at 3 and the long one at 4, it means that it is 3:20 in the morning or in the afternoon. Telling time. Sharp o'clock. When the last 2 hands of the digital clock are at 00 or the long hand of the analog clock is at 12, it means that the hour has just begun. The time at the right is 2 o'clock. Half past. The long hand of the analog watch will be at the number 6. On the digital clock, the last 2 digits will be 30. It means that the first half of the hour has passed. The time at the right is 2:30, 2:30. A quarter past. The long hand of the analog clock will be at 3. On the digital clock, the last digits will be 15, which means that a quarter of an hour has passed. The time at the right is 2:15, a quarter past 2. A quarter to. The long hand will be at 9, while on the digital clock the last two digits will be 45. This means that there are 15 minutes left until the end of the hour. The time at the right is 2:45, a quarter to 3. Isn't it amazing how you learnt about time? I guess you're now ready for the activity. Activity 1. Circle the correct analog clock. 1. A quarter past 4. If your answer is this, then your answer is correct. 2. A quarter to 6. If your answer is this, then your answer is correct. Okay, you got it right. Good job.
Wow.
Let's go to activity 2. What time is it? Look at closely the hands of the clock, whether what time and minutes are they pointing. Number 1. The short hand is pointing to 6 and the long hand is pointing to 3. 4 minutes, 3 is to 15. So, if your answer is 6:15, that is correct. Number 2. The short and long hand is pointing to 12. 4 minutes, 12 is to 60. What time is it? If your answer is 12 o'clock, you're right. Number 3. The short hand is pointing to 10 and the long hand is pointing to 2. 2 is to 10. So the answer is 10:10. Number 4. Look at the long hand. It's pointing to 9. Do you still remember that pointing to 9 is a quarter to? Therefore the time is 3:15 or a quarter to 4. Number 5. If your answer in number 5 is for 40, that is correct. You got them all correct.
Wow.
Nice job. Activity 3. True or false? Write true if the statement is correct and false it is incorrect. 1. The long hand of the clock indicates the exact hour. False. Why? Because the long hand tells the minutes. 2. The wristwatch is characterized by indicating the time on a dial by means of 3 types of hands. False. It's an analog clock. 3. The short hand of the clock marks the minutes. False. It's the long hand. 4. An hour has 30 minutes. True. 5. 12 months make up a year. True. So I guess you're all set for the time. Oh, what time is it? It's time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, then click the like and subscribe button and also click the bell to keep updated for my new videos.